Hi y'all, and welcome to today's video where we are going to be diving in the pattern selected for the month of October for the Things We're Making Thursday collaboration. This is going to be the perfect pattern to get you into the fall spirit and the spooky season vibes. And in this video we're going to talk about 3 ways how you can easily modify yours no matter what your skill level and make it stand out in a patch of others. Can you guess what we're making? So this collaboration is just basically a crochet along where a group of people come together and make the same thing. And this month's pattern is absolutely adorable. It is a free pattern from Red Heart called 3 Little Pumpkins. And we're going to talk about 3 ways in a minute how you can completely modify yours regardless of your skill level and really put some personality into it. If you're new here, my name is Kim and I am the host of this channel, Yarnatopia, where we talk yarn and all things knitting and crochet all the time. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. The crochet along is absolutely free to join. If you're interested, we do have a Facebook group and you can find out more details by looking down in the description of this video, looking for the top name Heather and sending her a message and she will get you in everything. Last month's pattern was all about fingerless mitts, and as much as I love fingerless mitts, I refuse to cast on another pattern because I have 16 works in progress. And my goal this month was actually to get 6 of them off my hooks and needles, and I got 0 done. But I did get a lot of work done on my other whips, and honestly I'm just ready to start something new for this fall season because I love fall. One of my favorite quotes is from Anne of Green Gables, and that is, "I am so grateful to live in a world where there is Octobers." And it is the truth. I love the weather change, and I absolutely love the leaf change that is happening right now even outside my door. On my little walk yesterday, I found these leaves and it made my heart flutter with joy. And I think that's why I'm so excited about this month's pattern, because these little pumpkins are going to be super easy to make. But before we can get into the 3 things that you can do to personalize your pumpkins, we need to talk about how they are made and constructed with this pattern so you can kind of plan ahead on what you want to do. The pattern is absolutely free to download and it's really straightforward. You're going to chain 36 stitches and then you're going to work back and forth a flat piece. Basically you're making a washcloth, which is what makes this such an easy pattern to modify, especially if this is your first time kind of modifying a pattern. Then once you get the desired length of what the pattern says, we're going to be seaming that together. We're going to take the ends and put them together and form a cylinder. From there, we're going to be cinching up the 2 ends and squishing it together, and that is going to form our pumpkin. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise you can do this. So let's go ahead and talk about and kind of plan 3 ways how we can transform our pumpkin and make it pumptastic and have a little bit of pumpkinality. The first thing that you can easily do to transform your pumpkin and give it some pumpkinality is by altering its size. This pattern calls for a number 4 yarn, which is considered a medium worsted / Aran weight, but you can easily change that to a fingering or a sport weight for a tiny pumpkin, or you can go all the way to a super or jumbo for a gigantic pumpkin. This is one of my favorite books from Toff Designs. I talk about them all the time, but this has the best representation of what I'm talking about. In this book, it talks about sizing and it shows how much of a difference changing the weight of the yarn can do. This is made with fingering weight, this is made with DK weight, and this is made with a Aran weight. All of these are with the exact same number of stitches and no math was required. They just simply used a different weight yarn and a hook to accommodate that weight change, and that is all you have to do. By changing the weight of the yarn used, you can actually give yourself a variety of sizes, allowing you to have a pumpkin family or even a little pumpkin army if that's what you want. So now that we've talked about size, let's talk about the second thing on our list, and that is color. Color is one of the easiest ways that you can completely transform a project and put some of you into what you're making. Example, let's look at this shawl. This is called the Easy DK Shawl on Ravelry. It is a free pattern to download and I'll link it as well. But the original was made in a highly variegated yarn, which totally made the patterning and all the details get lost. So when I made mine, I decided to use 3 different colors. This pumpkin, a latte color, this black tonal, and this cream, and it really helps it stand out. And it gave me a very unique piece that no one else really had. So I think that that is a super easy way to add personality into your pumpkins, and so let's talk about several ways how you can do that. The first way is you can easily just choose a random skein of yarn. We all have those random skeins of yarn that are variegated or have a lot of colors that we don't know what to do with. This may be the perfect project to use that and get that out of your stash. Another thing you can do is do stripes. It would be super easy since this is crocheted back and forth in a flat piece every 3 or 4 rows. Start a new color on an end and just kind of repeat that color for 3 or 4 rows and continue on. You can do it in a gradient, you can do it in a rainbow, however you want to do it, and it's going to give your pumpkin some pumpkinality. Another idea would be color blocking, and you can achieve this by doing X amount of stitches in one color and then the rest of the stitches in the other color for so many rows and then flopping those around. It's going to give you blocks of color that are alternating, and it's going to be a fun little detail for your pumpkin. Since we are on the subject of color, I do want to take the time to talk about 2 specific color pumpkins that you may see this season. These are specific colors for a certain reason, and if you want to make your pumpkins and maybe use them in your decor, maybe considering setting up your trick-or-treating area with these certain colors and giving families a safe place to come. The first one is going to be blue pumpkin. This blue represents children with autism. So if you have a pumpkin of this color on your porch, that means your space is a safe place for autistic children to come trick-or-treating. This means there's not going to be any bright flashing lights, super loud sounds, and the person coming to the door giving the candy is not going to have a mask on. When parents see this pumpkin on your front porch, it's going to reassure them that your space is a safe place for their child. If you see a child carrying this kind of bucket, just be aware of what it represents. The second one is teal pumpkins, and this one is super important as well because this one has to do with food allergies. So if you are a house who is giving out candy, maybe consider having some options that are not food related for your trick-or-treaters. This can be some little plastic spiders or the spider rings, even pencils that you find in the dollar section. And you can make a teal pumpkin and put it out on your porch to let parents know that it is a safe place for their child to go who has food allergies and still have a treat. You may even see the children coming up with these teal pumpkins, and that is to let you know that they need non-food items. We're now going to look at the third way how you can easily alter your pattern, and that is through the use of accents. These 3 little pumpkins, adorable as they are a little bit plain and lacking some accents. There is different faces that the pattern has for you that you can crochet and attach, but let's look at some other ways that you can add things to give your pumpkins some personality and a little bit of you. One of them would be through the use of felt. I actually have one of my previous makes here, and this is a knitted pumpkin pattern from Susan Claudino, and she is one of my favorite stuffy makers. But I use felt around the eyes, and I left mine not glued down, so occasionally if I want to kind of change his little personality, I can easily do so. But felt is super easy to cut out, and you can just kind of tack it down with glue. You can sew it down with sewing thread, and if you're using safety eyes, you can just poke a hole in it and then poke it through like I have done with Jack. Another great thing, an easy way to give your pumpkin some personality, was add some leaves. I'm surprised that there are no leaves on these little adorable pumpkins. And as you can see, that is what I did here using some green yarn. I just made a simple leaf and put on this pumpkin. But there are some crocheted versions. I'm going to link some free leaves down below so you can have access to those as well. The other thing that I wanted to point out was I noticed that these pumpkins have the same color stems as the facial expressions. That just seems weird to me. So maybe consider bringing in like a brown or a natural wood color for your stem. And if you wanted to carry a step more, you think about all those pumpkins we see every season that have the little spiral vines coming out of them, you can easily make that with crochet. This is a pumpkin that I made several years ago for the library. They had a pumpkin decorating contest out of one of those little fake pumpkins. But this is just yarn, and I chained a certain amount of stitches, and then I just did single crochets in them, and it gives it this bouncy curly look. That would be a super adorable accent to make and stick on top of your little pumpkin. I really hope you try it out. Another idea would be through the use of pipe cleaners. I keep pipe cleaners on hand at all times to use with my makes, especially my little creatures, because you can make posable hands and legs by just sticking some pipe cleaners in there. But we can also make a curly Q stem by taking a pipe cleaner in like a brown wood color, wrapping around your finger so that it makes a spiral, and then you can just pop it off and have that coming out of your little pumpkin as well. And these are just some simple ways that you can modify your little pumpkins and give them some pumpkinality. Maybe spice them up a little bit. Get it? Pumpkin spice. But I would love to know, are you going to be joining this make-along? If so, are you going to be using one of the examples that we talked about today to modify and give your pumpkin a little pumpkin-azz? If so, leave me a comment down below, and thank you so much for watching. If you want to see my previous Things We're Making Thursday make, that is Betty the Bat, you can click here. The pattern, I promise, is coming. It's just been crazy. And if you want to see some more of my project talk, you can click here. See you next time.